అమ్మ బయట సారీ మా.
Hi, good afternoon. Are you able to hear? Yes, Sumukh, you are able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We are meeting for the first time, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let us talk for 2-3 minutes. Let your friends join. Yeah. Hi, Vedashri, Akshit, and Nidhi. How was your exam is yet to get over, right? It's not done now. So if it is a normal classroom, then we all can see each other, and here in online we cannot see. But that's okay. You are able to see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you are able to see me. So it's like 50% only because I cannot see you all. Yes. So in today's class, we would like to discuss something based on whatever already learned. Okay, like we have learned atomic structure in 9th class, isn't it? We have learned periodic table also. We have learned atoms, molecule, and chemical reaction, etc. So we will see. some things are actually connected. So in first year also we have atomic structure, periodic table, but it's going to be like extension of the concepts what we learn in lower standards. Okay, so I think it's important for us to brush up whatever is learned and then we go ahead. So generally we call it bridge course, but that's okay. It's like almost like a first year part only. So some things are going to repeat. Okay. Yes. I think those who are interested to join have already joined. We will wait for 2 more minutes and we start. Okay. So discovery of electron. So let us start our discussion. See, we know scientists like J.J. Thomson, then Rutherford, then Niels Bohr, Faraday, then Max Planck, all these, then De Broglie. There are many other scientists also who contributed greatly to discovering atomic structure. What is an atom and what are the constituents of atom? Yes or no? Actually, it all began with Dalton, isn't it? Yes or no? You know Dalton? John Dalton? You should respond. Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Sumuk, you are from which place?
Sir,
Yeah, you are from which place? You are from area?
Padnam Nagar.
Okay, okay, good, good. Akshit?
So I'm from Tamil Nadu, Chennai, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. Pooja?
Padmanabh Nagar.
Okay. Asha, you are from? Okay, I think mic, you have to switch on. Unmute your mic and you have to tell. You can use.
Bangalore.
Okay, 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 fine. In Bangalore?
From Katkatte.
Okay, okay, nice. Then Shiva Subramanian.
Good morning. I am from Chennai.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay.
I have come. I am a parent, in fact.
Okay, okay, okay. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Yeah.
Kishan, you are from?
Vidyanapura.
Okay. Harshavardhan, you are from? Okay. Vedashri?
RR Nagar.
Okay, I could not hear, but fine. I think
RR
Bangalore.
Nagar, sir.
Got it, got it. RR Nagar. Darshan Kumar, yes? Darshan, you are able to hear me? Okay, probably Bangalore only. So yes, I wanted a formal introduction of all of you, but it's okay. My name is Manjunath, and I teach chemistry. Okay, so generally we have a offline live classroom here, but because of this COVID, we are having online classes. So very soon we are going to have both platform. Okay, so those who are in Bangalore will be benefited by both. So yes, in today's session we are going to discuss about basics of atomic structure and periodic table, what is already learned. Okay, so we know that initially John Dalton gave a theory that's called Dalton's atomic theory. So Dalton's atomic theory is much before discovery of electron actually. Okay, so I will start with John Dalton only. So first atomic theory which we learn is of Dalton's atomic theory. What are the important conclusions drawn by John Dalton? You all remember? He mentioned that atoms are made up of indivisible, indestructible, smallest particles called as, sorry, matter is made up of indivisible, small, indestructible particle called as atom. Okay.
Atoms.
Yeah, matter is made up of small, indivisible. That means it can never be divided further. Indivisible particle called as atom. So this was the first postulate or first conclusion. He also mentioned that atoms combine, yes or no? Atoms combine to form compounds in a specific ratio or in a fixed ratio. Yes or no? This is what he mentioned initially. So yes, it is true also. This is also called as Dalton's law of definite proportion, law of definite proportion, isn't it? Then he also mentioned that properties of atoms of one element is identical, and they differ. Properties of different elements are different. Basically, properties of atoms of different element. Okay. The properties of atoms of different elements are different. Last and most important is atoms can, see, atoms are conserved. Okay. They are neither created nor destroyed. He mentioned that also. Nor destroyed, and they are only rearranged. Okay, so atoms are reorganized or rearranged in different compounds. So these are some of the important conclusions drawn by John Dalton. See, this is very important. You will be surprised to know in 2020 there was a question asked on this in JEE Mains. You know that? So it's important that we know what all the conclusions from these scientists, because when we study atom, we should know the path in which we have traveled. Okay, so these are initial discoveries. They are very important also. Sometimes they ask. So this was asked in JEE 2020. So they won't ask you to write. Basically, they will give a question based on this theory. So you need to know that. Okay. So after John Dalton's theory, many years passed. Later on, cathode ray experiments were conducted. Especially J.J. Thomson is the person or the scientist who conducted experiments. Of course, not only Thomson, there were many. Even Faraday conducted cathode ray experiments. So they conducted cathode ray experiments, and in cathode ray experiment they draw many conclusions, of which they say that there is some particle which is negatively charged, which is much smaller or much more fundamental than atom. Okay, and it travels from negative electrode towards the positive electrode, and it's also concluded that they travel in a straight line. Yes or no? You have learned, right? Features of cathode rays. You have learned or not? Yes, Harsha?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you have learned it. So can you tell me some of the reasons, some of the features? At least one. Each one should tell one. Okay, that would help. So in that way we will revise also. Good, no? Tell me. Features of cathode rays. So after cathode rays experiment only, conclusion about electron was made. Okay. Tell me. Already I mentioned one. What is that? What I mentioned?
Straight
I
path.
straight line. Yeah. They travel in straight path. Straight line. Okay. So second important feature is that they transfer momentum. You know what is momentum? You have heard what is momentum? Yes, yes. You could use box also if your connectivity is not very good. You don't want to talk and disturb, or neighborhood is very noisy. Then you can use chat box. I am watching chat box also. Okay. Yes. So there is a answer. Negatively charged particles. Yes, they travel from sorry, from cathode to anode. Okay, indicating they are negatively charged. The particles which are traveling are negatively charged. What else? Sumuk, can you give a try? Asha, what are the other features you have learnt? Yes, they show deflection in magnetic field and electric field, isn't it? Show deflection in magnetic field? Yes or no? And electric field. Okay. And they are independent of medium. It's also important. Independent of medium. So medium means what? Now, what is the medium of our communication? Huh? Are we having communication or not? See, communication involves feedback also. Otherwise, it is incomplete communication. Hmm?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. There should be feedback. English medium, yes. So our medium of communication is English medium. So what was the so when we say independent of medium, see, they take a cathode ray tube, no? They take a cathode ray tube. Cathode ray tube is something like this. It's a pressure vessel. It's like a vacuum is maintained. Okay. And you have a cathode and you have anode here. So electron, whatever charged particles, till now they are not electrons. So they travel from cathode to anode in straight line, in straight path. Okay. And they transfer momentum also. Momentum means like mass into velocity is called momentum actually. Okay. You will learn about this in physics more. So generally particles with mass will transfer momentum. Imagine you are traveling in a you don't travel. Imagine somebody traveling in a car is hitting a car going little slowly. Okay. So what happens? There is some force getting transferred, right? What is that? You are going to hit, right? The car which is already going, but it is going slowly. So you will go and hit it. So now because of that, for a moment, that car which is going ahead will have a higher velocity. It will go faster because we have transferred momentum or transferred force. Rate of change of momentum is actually force. So that's how momentum transfer is done. Basically, these particles have mass. Okay. And hence, if you keep any actually they kept a small pin wheel, small fan, and that fan rotated because of this particles hitting the fan. Okay, that gave a conclusion. That observation helped us to conclude that these particles have mass and they transfer momentum. Okay, more details you will learn in our 11th class regular, once we start regular sessions. Okay, so these are some of the features of cathode rays. So based on this, J.J. Thomson concluded that these particles are negatively charged, and he also suggested that the charge on electron also. Okay, later on charge on electron was discovered by Mulliken. He's another scientist. Okay, so later on, then discovery of anode rays, that is discovery of protons. Then who discovered protons? Yes, discovery of protons. Who discovered protons? Goldstein, huh? Goldstein. Then Chadwick. Okay. So like this, several scientists came and conducted several experiments. More detail into atomic structure required. Many other aspects of physics, basically science for that matter. Okay. You know, Rutherford conducted several experiments also. One of the important experiments what Rutherford conducted is alpha scattering experiment. Yes or no? You have learned this? Gold foil experiment. You have learned it, but you have forgotten, I think. Huh? Nobody is responding. Akshit?
Yes,
you have
sir.
learned? Yeah.
Yes.
You have learned this actually. What are the conclusions?
Yes.
What he did? He took a alpha source,
One out.
okay, a radioactive substance which gives alpha radiation, and he used gold foil. Okay, what was the thickness of gold foil? 1,000 atoms thick, right?
Yes.
So these alpha particles were passed through this gold foil, and he had a screen of this shape. Why is this shape? And it was coated with a photosensitive substance, so that if charged particle hits, see, alpha particle is a charged particle. If it hits the screen, it should indicate the impingement. Yes or no? That's why he used a photosensitive substance like zinc sulfide. Okay. So what happened is, these alpha particles, though traveled in a straight line here, most of them passed through straight. Okay. Very few showed the deflection. 1 in 20,000, very less number of alpha particles actually rebounded back. That means they deflected by 180 degree. Okay. So these were the conclusions of alpha scattering experiment. If you remember, before this is the Thomson's model. Thomson mentioned that atom is like a positively charged disk with electrons embedded in it. It's also called plum pudding model. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So if that was the structure of atom, then so many alpha particles should not have passed through. Yes or no? Because particles are positively charged, alpha particles, and we are telling atom is positively charged disk with electrons embedded in it. So all the particles should have reflected back, or they should have deflected by 180 degrees. But it was not like that. So the observation was completely opposite. So Thomson's atomic model was scrapped. In the science, this is what happens when we do discovery. If with the time technology evolves, yes or no? If you may not know, when initially mobiles were introduced, I remember one small phone was there, small and very sturdy, Nokia. You ask your parents, they will know. Now all smartphones, high-end phones have come. So that time it was that small. It was not so small also, but the functionalities and the many things were very primitive. Okay, but now you see there are so many different versions of phones. Yes or no? Now we don't purchase those phones, right? We rarely see them. So similarly, with the passage of time, technology also grows. So scientific research also goes ahead. To take this scientific research ahead, we need to know what has happened in the past also. So sometimes students ask, sir, all this is old story, 200 years old story. Yes or no? What is the use of learning all this? Anyway, we are not going to use this. These arguments are there. But we should know, unless we learn these things, in some way it becomes difficult to carry forward the research. Okay, or technology. Development of technology also requires us to know what has happened in the past. Okay. So yes, coming back to Rutherford's experiment. So he observed that most of the particles passed through the gold foil. Okay. So if you want to write the conclusions, you can always write. It's there. Yes. Yes. Shiva Subramanian.
Yes, sir.
Tell-
Sir, actually, I always used to feel, sir, when I was a student, and still also, I have a
Yeah.
lot of questions, sir. These
Yes.
kind of this cathode rays and other things, sir.
Yeah.
Whether in school, is it shown as an experiment, sir?
Yeah. The point is, sir, there we use a high potential difference. Otherwise, these cathode rays are not excited. Those particles won't come out of the metal plate, and you cannot see them. You cannot make a observation.
Whether
So
I wanted to know whether the student will be able to see whatever the points which we are trying to say, electrons move straight line, all this
Yeah.
thing, whether
Yes.
they'll be able to see actually, sir.
at right now, it's only beginning actually science. If they take up graduation, BSc, like in good colleges, IISCs, ISERs and all, they get opportunity to look at these experiments.
Exactly, sir. This is what actually I used to talk to many teachers.
Yes.
See,
Yes, sir.
most of the students, even I also tend to forget. But
Okay.
if they see something, sir,
Yes.
they will never forget in their lifetime, sir. So
Yes, we
all
don't-
these experiments and other things, sir, it should start right from the time we are explaining something.
Yes, sir. Yes, surely.
We are not explaining these things in graduate and colleges. We are explaining the same thing in schools. So when we start explaining, it should be in experiment only. Nothing should be in text, sir. This is my personal view, sir.
Yeah. That's I agree with that. Learning happens 90% in lab only. Actually, if we want a proper learning, it should be experiential.
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah, so we agree with that, but see what happens. What generally the people who give guidelines in colleges consider is that the safety point of view and other things also. So most of the reactions, even in chemistry, we don't handle like high-end chemicals, which are maybe detrimental or very even concentrated acids and all. We handle only very low concentration if you look at the actual laboratory setups. So those things are taken care. Surely we can work on showing the videos, the real life videos.
Exactly.
So some of the institutes, they make videos of these things. We can surely show those videos to the students. So I will send the link. I have the videos, but generally in between class, it's not very easy to show. So I have not shown it. Generally, I will surely send the link for everyone's reference. You can see how.
Sorry, sir. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's correct only, sir. It's correct only. We will. It will make more meaning actually when we
Absolutely.
see. Yeah. So just to continue with what we were discussing. So if we want to write some conclusions here, what was concluded by Rutherford. So he mentioned that atom consists of small, dense, positively charged part located at the center. So he termed it to be nucleus. Okay, we use nucleus for that part, right? That part of atom is called nucleus. So it was the contribution of Rutherford. Okay, and he also mentioned that the size compared to the atom, size of nucleus is extremely small. Like the example is given of the circle of radius 5 kilometer. Are you able to imagine? 5 kilometer radius. Okay. Imagine circle of radius 5 kilometer, and you keep a cricket ball at the center. So the comparison is like that. So if you see, the Thomson's model gives the size of atom to be 10 power minus 10 meter. This is the size of atom. He mentions that. What is this? 10 power minus 10 meter means 1 angstrom, right? You know this, right? 10 power minus 10 means 1 angstrom. Yes. So, however, the size of nucleus was found to be approximately 10 power minus 15 meter. You see the difference? 10 power 5, which is actually very huge distance. Huh? It's like 100 kilometer, isn't it? So in this way, but you see, atom exists in a atom is very small, first of all, and nucleus is much smaller. Okay. So it's just a comparison. Huh? Atom will never be so huge. Atom is very small. So 10 power minus 10 meter is very small size. So second important point is what? He also mentioned electrons revolve around nucleus. Okay. And he also mentioned about the size. Now later on, Rutherford's model was also rejected. What was the problem with Rutherford's model? Can anybody tell me? Yes, Asha and others. Those who have not given any answer till now. Pooja, Vedashri, any thought you have? What are the drawbacks of Rutherford's model? What was the problem? There was no any problem. See, by now the physics, the theories have gone much ahead actually. So Maxwell is a scientist who gave out classical theory of physics. That is, when a charged particle is in motion, it will actually emit certain energy in terms of radiation or basically electromagnetic radiation. So a charged particle in motion should actually emit some radiation, and if it emits certain radiation, it is expected to lose energy. So if that happens, then what should happen when electrons are revolving around the nucleus? These electrons should actually are revolving around the nucleus. That means it is a field, positive field. So when electron is revolving in positive field, it will lose energy and it should actually reduce its radius and it should come to the nucleus. It should collapse into the nucleus. So this observation is not made. That means Rutherford's model is not applicable to atom. So that's how they concluded that, even we conclude that Rutherford's model is not valid. So with progress in scientific research, we identify the flaws in the previous theories and we modify and we improvise the theories. Okay. So later on, who gave the theory? After this, actually, electromagnetic radiation, research involving electromagnetic radiations were conducted. So we will study about electromagnetic radiation now. Okay, electromagnetic radiation. So these electromagnetic radiation are again the radiations which have both electric field as well as magnetic field. Understood, no? So this is actually based on the wave nature of electromagnetic radiation. Okay, we know light, right? Light has dual nature. We have heard, right? Light is a wave also, light is a particle also. So there are some physical phenomena, natural phenomena in that sense. Natural phenomena which justify wave nature of light. What is wave? What is wave nature? You have observed this swimming pools, right? Swimming pool or any pond for that matter. There, if you put a stone, you throw a stone, it will generate ripples, right? That's a wave. Like that, you will see many waves, like waves in many natural phenomena. If you visit a beach, you will see waves. They are water waves. Okay, so they travel. Waves travel, no, and they actually carry energy also. So it's one of the important source of energy, tidal energy. Okay. You all know how waves are generated? Who is stirring the ocean? Anybody stirring the ocean? Huh?
So it's due to gravitational force.
Gravitational force?
It is
Okay.
due to the gravitational pull of moon.
Moon.
Moon. Okay.
It is the atmospheric air, sir.
Yeah. Sir, you cannot answer. They are answering, no?
Your class is very interesting.
See, oceans show so much waves not because of gravitational pull. Of course, there is theory that moon, gravitational field of moon is also affecting, but mainly it is due to, acceptable explanation is that it is due to air. Air movement is there, no? Why air moves? Because of temperature difference. Okay. So if you observe, we know that, right? Hot air has a low density. So when there is a low density, then air tries to move into the upper zone of atmosphere. So this movement of air generates air current. This air current also induces water current because it is in touch, like it's in constant touch. No, it's an interface. Water, air has an interface in so much area of Earth is covered by ocean only, and it continuously travels. You know, it travels till it reaches shore, beach. Of course, there is also dissipation of energy of these waves because of the when will this energy dissipation occur? When two waves collide, correct? No, they may not collide constructively, they may collide destructively. So there are multiple ways of understanding the wave. So it's again a detail, we will surely deal with it in physics. Okay, so coming back to our electromagnetic radiation, it was found that several phenomena which you observe in nature are explained by wave nature of light. That light is a wave, light can travel as a wave. Like one is interference, okay, then diffraction. There are many experiments which are conducted based on these phenomena. Okay, then there are some observations in nature or some phenomena in nature which are explained by particle nature of light. Okay, particle nature in the sense light travels as a particle, like a photon. You might have seen solar cells, right? Solar cells. How solar cells work? The explanation is given based on particle nature of light. So photons actually hit the photovoltaic substance and they excite electron, and then electron, when you make electron travel through a wire, it is a current only. So current is nothing but a traveling electron. Okay, so that's how we get photo. current. It's called photocurrent. Solar cells work on that principle only. Like this, there are several phenomena in nature which we explain based on properties of light. So let us understand properties of light. When you consider light is nothing but electromagnetic radiation. Visible light has a particular property, particular wavelength and frequency, and other electromagnetic radiations have different values. So we know that these electromagnetic radiations travel in space with electric field as well as magnetic field. Imagine our wave is traveling in this direction. Okay, you know, no, these are three axes, x, y and z. Anybody has that doubt? No, right? Suppose a light is traveling in this direction, okay, then it will have an oscillating magnetic field and electric field. So I will show electric field by blue color. So this is electric field. This is the amplitude. You know, no. Every wave has a set of properties. So this is say I'll mark this. This is x, this is y, and this is z. So if electric field is in x direction, not in x direction, it's in y direction. Huh? It's perpendicular to x. It's in y direction. Then you can expect magnetic field in the mutually perpendicular direction, like this. It's horizontal like this. Okay, you're able to imagine it's in z direction. You're able to imagine. I'm not a good artist. Huh? Correct, no? It's not very neat, but you should be, you are scientists, no? You should be able to imagine also. Slowly we will develop a lot of imagination, don't worry. So now you see, these are the properties of electromagnetic radiation. It has a mutually perpendicular electric field, which is also oscillating, and the light also travels as a wave only. Okay, so you can say it's a three-dimensional wave. So now you see this, we have already studied that the speed with which electromagnetic radiation travel is speed of light. What is speed of light? Value, Sumukh, Pooja. They don't have any speed. Obviously, they don't travel like snail. Snail, you know, no? Snail travels very slow. Light travels very fast, no? Fastest velocity known is the velocity of light. So it is 3.
Sir, I forgot, sir.
Okay. Yes, 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. Good. You should not forget this. Okay. See, if we forget our name, we have our ID. Different IDs are there. School ID card is there. Then we have passport. So many things are there. But if you forget these things, textbooks, we don't open textbooks only, no. So from this we know that C is equal to nu lambda. What are these nu and lambda? See, if I take a wave like this wave will have certain properties as I mentioned. This is the one complete wave. Okay, so it has an amplitude. Yes or no? The displacement of wave from mean position is called amplitude. And what is this distance called? From here till here. What is this distance called? This is called lambda or wavelength. Okay. And what is this frequency? This is nu. Nu is Nu. This is how it is pronounced. Okay. This is frequency. How do we define frequency, Akshit? We have used this word frequency, no? We talk in terms of frequency of BMTC bus here in Bangalore, frequency of metro. What does that mean?
Oscillations.
Oscillations per second.
Oscillations. We can use
నన్నేం
frequency.
అడగలేమా వాళ్ళు ఎవరో వేరే పేరు అడిగేది.
Okay. You should mute after answering, no?
Yeah, the rate of
Yeah. Frequency is generally used to indicate the number of repetitions actually. Okay. So we use frequency of me opening smartphone. Don't we use? How frequently you open smartphone? Okay, we should not open smartphone so much. So frequency, you understand, no? It is number of oscillations per unit time. Generally, time means it is second. So it's also mentioned as, it's also defined as number of revolutions or number of cycles per second. Okay. So frequency is number of cycles or number of oscillations per unit
second.
time. Yes, per second. So its unit is hertz or per second. Okay. So it's not, it's either hertz or per second. We generally use hertz only. What about lambda? Lambda is wavelength. This is actually the length of one complete wave. Okay. So the length of one complete wave. What will be the unit here? How do we measure wavelength? How do we measure wavelength? We don't measure wavelength. We use length. It's length, no. So it's a unit of length only.
Meter.
Yeah, it's actually meters, but meters is very large unit compared to the wavelength of these radiations. So generally we use angstrom, nanometer, etc. Basically it is a length only. Okay. So now using this formula we can actually calculate frequency or wavelength if any one of these quantities is given, isn't it? Suppose I ask you a question. What is wavelength of radio wave used by Radio Mirchi if its frequency? What is frequency of Radio Mirchi? There is no Radio Mirchi in Chennai. In Bangalore it is there. There is Big FM, there is Radio Mirchi. Nobody knows, no? Because everyone is, this time is gone now. Nobody knows about FM stations. I also don't know, honestly, because I never hear this FM. Okay. So I think we will take it 92.7. Huh? I really don't know.
Sir, 93.3.
Okay. Whatever. So it will be megahertz actually. Okay. So using this is a frequency now, and we know all these radiations travel at a speed of light. So can we calculate wavelength? We can calculate wavelength, right? Yes. So what is wavelength? Lambda is equal to C by nu. What is C? 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. divided by 92.7 into 10 power 6 hertz. So how much it will give? Yes, it's like 300 by 92.7, isn't it? You should be able to recognize all that. 300 by 92.7 is almost like 3.2 meter. You see, quite long waves here. Yes or no? 3.2 meter is like 10 feet. Yes or no? $10 is not very small, right? It's very big. So these are the, yes sir? Yes, Harshavardhan, sir? Anything you have to say? Okay, I think by mistake you raised hand. Fine. So you are able to understand the range of this wavelength. These are called radio waves. Like this, actually, there are several types of waves, several types of radiations, which are actually distributed or arranged in the increasing order of wavelength or decreasing order of frequency. So this arrangement of electromagnetic radiation, arrangement of electromagnetic radiation in increasing order of what? Increasing order of wavelength. You all are not responding, huh? If feedback is not there, no? What happens if you don't touch your phone for say 5 minutes? It will actually, screen will get shut off, right? Screen will get off or not? It will get switched off. It will go to sleep mode. So that should not happen, right? So arrangement of electromagnetic radiation in increasing order of wavelength or decreasing order of frequency is called spectrum, electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, so this spectrum is important because that will help us to sir, it is actually I had messaged, it's a chemistry only, I am just dealing with the atomic structure, so these things are required here. So yes, I was mentioning that the electromagnetic spectrum can be arranged in increasing order of wavelength or decreasing order of frequency. So that is called electromagnetic spectrum. Now that is useful to understand which radiation is of which order, how much energetic a particular wavelength is, and what are the different uses. Okay, so let us look into this spectrum in our next class, because it's already time, we will not extend it. Okay, is that fine? And I will share some questions based on whatever we discussed in our class today. You can try to solve those questions. Okay, you all are able to hear me? Okay, I feel that you have heard and I accept. Yes, thank you.